All right. So, in the spirit of just keeping proper documentation, I went to the Fairfax County Courthouse again, and I did a mental health assessment for the Fairfax County Mental Health Docket Handbook. Now, before we begin, I'm going to make it very clear this is a courting process. The courting process, okay? I'm not courting anyone. And no one should be courting me because I didn't consent to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's just start there. That this courthouse has perpetuated rape against me and rewarded my rapist, Gabby Vanette. And that before that, I was already experiencing issues that the court should have stayed out of. And that their entire argument is that they are better at combat than me. Essentially, what this comes down to is that their entire argument is one-sided, saying that we can do all this to you. If you don't do what we want you to do, we can take all your time from you at the threat of violence. And they nowhere in this is it mentioned, if we don't do what we're supposed to do, then you can do this. And that is the first sign that this is a rapist institution, and it is not based on consent. Even if they have me sign something, that's not a proper consent because my consent is already compromised, and it's been compromised since the day I was born because I was circumcised without my consent. And that is why all these problems are happening, is because all of my defensive behaviors and my disabled behaviors as a result of not having a foreskin are seen as criminal offenses because I lack something that I should have, and they are not willing to accommodate me because they are not willing to acknowledge that the circumcision caused trauma and created a disability that their institution is responsible for because they handled money as a result of the operation. And that's what this all comes down to. So this institution is abusing me sexually, physically, and spiritually. And so when they ask me, are you currently being abused? I have to say yes, and I have to say it is you that is abusing me. And yet I'm still being forced to cooperate with these people unless I want to go to combat, in which case you understand how this is a problem because this institution is a gang. And so if I go to combat against anyone in order to defend myself, which is why they said that my previous violent charge, quote unquote, even though they violated my due process, which is probably the entire point of the COVID operation because it occurred at a very suspicious time with Gabby Vanette's situation, and the fact that they keep using me for slave labor, it all indicates that it's a conspiracy not just to commit murder, but to perpetuate slavery against me, and that this whole thing has been set up from the beginning, and that is why I was circumcised. Not to benefit me, but explicitly to harm me and use me as a resource. And now they're asking for 20 hours a week of my time, constant check-ins, and all this stuff I was already doing. They're just trying to take control of my life so that they can say that I don't approve of what you're doing and I'm gonna punish you. Even though they claim that they're not doing that. They claim that this is supposed to be a way out of being punished, and yet I should never have been punished in the first place. This planet is fucked, and the people on it are all guilty, except me. So there's that. That's what's going on right now. And here's the resolution for now. I want you to see how reasonable I am. I'm aware of this, and I'm still willing to make a genuine and honest attempt to work within the confines of the system and to do what is asked of me because I'm already doing what is asked of me. They just haven't been doing what's asked of them, so they're not aware of that. And also, they've been trying to kill me this whole time. And so it's a little bit difficult to communicate properly with an institution that is literally trying to murder me and cooperate with them because all that they want is for me to cooperate with them murdering me. It's a bit difficult, but I'm still going to do my best because I care. I care about the people. I care about the system. Technically, the way the law works is that if I successfully complete this, it sets a precedent for others to also be able to behave in the way that they are supposed to, as opposed to being attacked by this system just for being different. So, and making it clear that if I do not receive cooperation on their end and they try to make it one-sided where they expect me to just do whatever they say without taking responsibility for their own behavior, because the point of this program is to quote unquote identify the problem behaviors that keep causing me to come in contact with the criminal system. Now, I'm going to make it very clear, I am not presenting problematic behaviors. I have presented some problematic behaviors and I've learned from them. In this case, the whole reason that I'm in the court system is because the fucking SWAT team and the police and the government and the court system themselves are exhibiting problematic behaviors and continuing to blame me, although I've made changes, and that the premise for their arrest of me, it is incorrect. It is simply scientifically incorrect, and that their excuse as for why it's not is that, well, but you're wrong because I can shoot you and I can put you in a box. So making it clear that while I go through this process and I make an attempt to recover my own system as Alec Clark Stewart, the institution that is intended to fight, to officiate, and to protect and serve, it all falls on my name. And so in an attempt to recover the system that is only operative under my name, I'm going to do my best to make positive changes. And if I cannot, due to unnecessary resistance, well, then I will absolutely 100% resort to combat. Because I have to prove that they are wrong. If it comes to that, I have to prove that they are wrong. In Virginia, we have Sic Semper Tyrannis, which means we kill tyrants. Always kill tyrants. Always kill tyrants. Which means if they're wrong and they're threatening me and they are not willing to cooperate and they're not willing to participate in an equal exchange, that means they are not only rapists because of the way that they've treated me, but they are also tyrants specifically, in that I'm actually required by the law of the state that I'm in. It's the only valid law. Everything else is just an amendment, that I'm required to kill everyone who is behaving like a tyrant. Everyone in the chain of command who is unwilling to bow to my will. And that Semper Fi, as a result, is, the Sic Semper Tyrannis is on the state seal. And the seal, any seal, is in the realms of the Office of Naval Intelligence. This ring a bell? And therefore, the law is that if I, through a thorough investigation as the detective, I am the detective, and I'm also the prosecutor, and I'm also the executor. I am the attorney. I am all of these things. I am the judge. And yet I am also the judged. I have to uphold myself to a standard that is tolerable because it is my life. And if through my investigation and through my auditing process, I find personnel that are unable to be reasoned with, which I hope that I don't, but that I would not be surprised if I do, then I am required to A, mark them for death, B, provide reasoning for this process, and C, if others are unwilling to carry out the process for me, carry out the process myself. Emphasizing doubly and indubitably that my desire is not to solve this through combat, but rather to solve it through cooperation and production, to be a creative force for this industry in this country, in this world, rather than simply a destructive force. However, I must remind people of my ability to be destructive if they choose to inhibit my creative abilities and facilities beyond a certain capacity. And that is where we're at. I'm going to do my best because a lot of the things that are asked of me in here are reasonable. The only part that isn't reasonable is the fact that it took so long to get to this point, and the fact that I'm already doing everything, and that my last arrest actually inhibited me from the therapeutic process and the recovery process. Not only did it inhibit me, it blamed me, saying that I was doing something against the therapeutic process and recovery process, and demanded money in order to not be kidnapped, essentially, and probably tortured. Meanwhile, the science shows that their entirely new operation is based on a compound so similar to what I was working with that it causes them to be implicit. It causes them to be complicit. And the fact that I'm even able to sit here and record this and speak on this proves simply how correct I actually am.